Sandra meets Matthew and she cannot deny his star quality. She says, Matthew just had a spark to him. He gets a joke nobody else gets.
I've worked with you. I've tried to kiss you successfully and unsuccessfully.
Even though Ryan was only 21 years old and Sandra was much older, they started dating for 2 years.
You get the call that morning from Sandy's publicist.
I made mistakes and did stuff that I shouldn't have. I handled the situation not the way I should have.
He has evolved on a level that is not human. I found the love of my life.
My mom said, I'm gonna raise you so you don't need anyone else but yourself.
Sandra Bullock has had a tragic love life, from her inappropriate relationship with Ryan Gosling to her secret romance with Matthew McConaughey. It seems like Sandra Bullock has always gotten the short end of the stick. The one time Sandra felt like she found the love of her life, he unfortunately was taken from her and passed away 8 years into their relationship. Now all Sandra Bullock is stuck with is past memories and broken relationships. So let's get into it. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite actresses, Sandra Bullock, because she may have had some Oscar-winning performances, but she's not had any Oscar-worthy romances. Despite dating a much younger Ryan Gosling, having a relationship with Keanu Reeves, and even a secret romance with Matthew McConaughey, Sandra just hasn't been able to get it right. It has to be difficult to be so famous like Sandra and to find love. It's probably why she was all alone in her home when that intruder came in and almost killed her. We will be touching on that story in a moment, but I want to kick off this video by talking about her secret romance with Matthew McConaughey. They met in 1996 on the set of a film, A Time to Kill, and it actually turns out that Matthew was a player back then. He dated Sandra and also dated another co-star, Ashley Judd. At the time, Sandra and Matthew were really private about their relationship. They were just getting started on camera, and it looks like their relationship was a secret for about 2 years, and it wasn't really clear why they had broken up. Matthew has spoken about his relationship with Sandra on the Howard Stern show, saying maybe we had certain crushes on each other at certain times, but we always just kind of kept it professional. And even though Matthew might be coy about his feelings about Sandra, Sandra has said some really nice things about Matthew in the past.
Sandra meets Matthew and she cannot deny his star quality. She says, Matthew just had a spark to him. He gets a joke nobody else gets, has a rhythm to himself. Ask me to describe him, I can't even begin to pull enough people together. Take a little Will Rogers, a little Paul Newman, and then some bizarre character actor, some totally whack nutcase like Boxcar Willie, and then you take a 6-year-old and you mesh all that together, and that's kind of close, but there's nobody like him. So even though he is dating Ashley Judd during the time of these interviews, he does admit that he develops a crush during Sandra Bullock over the course of their filming. So these are paparazzi photos from the summer of 1996. Giggles. McConaughey is hosting a small gathering of neighbors and friends. It's a laid-back crowd, even if one of the gang, a cute, slender, vaguely familiar brunette McConaughey introduces as Sandy, is more or less the world's biggest female star. Sandra Bullock, or red blood, as McConaughey calls her. Red-blooded is an informal adjective used to describe someone who is full of energy, strength, and strong emotion. As a nickname, someone who seems full of confidence or sexual energy, also known as lusty. They are unmistakably in love. Look at this. You're gonna tell me these two people aren't in love? Look at this. Oprah asks her, are you dating Matthew McConaughey? And she says point blank, no, I'm not. And then adds, giggling, any woman that gets him is gonna have to get by me.
It almost seems like Matthew is the one who got away. It looks like Matthew isn't down for the PR relationships. He wrote about this in his book, saying that when actors get into their first movie, they're not going to be as sizzling hot as they were the first time they're seen on the big screen. While he admits he does get crushes behind the scenes, it looks like those crushes fade away because what's more important to him is his work. Probably part of the reason why George Clooney's relationship is falling apart with Amla is because he cannot go and put his work to the side. He cares more about his fame and the grind than he does his wife. It seems like there's a theme when it comes to these actors, but at the 2014 Guys' Choice Awards, there was a moment where Matthew actually paid homage to his former girlfriend, saying, I've tried to kiss you successfully and unsuccessfully. I've been directed to you in a short film, and also to the exit of many bars. So it seems like their relationship's far more complicated than what we know.
Hello, Sandy. I've worked with you. I've tried to kiss you successfully and unsuccessfully. I've been directed by you in a short film and also to the exit door of many bars. So Sandy, here is to your decade of hotness. I'm glad to say that I knew you the decade before as well.
Now let's move on to another relationship that Sandra kept low-key, and that's her relationship with Ryan Gosling. Remember that Ryan is actually 16 years younger than Sandra is. She spoke in an interview with Cosmopolitan, and she opened up about her relationship, saying that she had a hard time just being friends with Ryan Gosling. She shared that movie sets were the breeding grounds for relationships and added that one needed a good set of rules going into it. Wait. So Sandra Bullock just confirmed what I say in so many videos, that these sets are breeding grounds for relationships. So if you're in a relationship and your partner's going to go and act in a movie, I would say you've got a 90% chance of them leaving you. It's giving Ariana Grande, it's giving Ethan Slater. She said, quote, "I have a hard time being just friends." Well, again, Ariana Grande, she can't just be your friend. Break up with your boyfriend. Whoa, 'cause I'm bored. Remember that song? She says, "My feeling is if you're both single and you're not hurting anyone, do it. Have a great time. But if you're committed, walk away. You have to have a really good moral backbone. Movie sets are the breeding grounds." Ugh. When I hear breeding grounds, I feel like COVID or STDs. She was asked about Ryan Gosling. She said, "Let me see if I can answer that politically and correctly." She said, "We're friends. If you want to add the word just, it would probably be a bit of a lie. So I would say we're friends." There's something more there. Now, Ryan must have really loved Sandra. He actually said in 2011 that his two best girlfriends were Sandra Bullock and Rachel McAdams. Quote, "I had two of the greatest girlfriends of all time. I haven't met anybody who could top them." Oh, here's another quote. I love this from Sandra. She gave another hint saying that movie sets are the best dating service on the planet. Sandra claims that Ryan taught her a great life lesson. To chill. Just chill, man. Quote, "I live my life at a manic pace and he's taught me to disregard all of that. That's not important." She claims that Ryan is a little bit like a Buddha. Well, they are raised in different generations, and I do feel like there's some knowledge that could be shared there. As freaky as that may be, but it was 2003 when these two broke up. Their relationship was like 2 decades ago. Throwback to 2003. Was anyone who's watching this video an adult back then? Now, the reason for their breakup was unknown, but Ryan blamed the entertainment industry. He said, "Show business is the bad guy. When both people are in show business, it's too much show business. It takes off the lights so nothing else can grow."
It looks like he had a huge impact on her. She recently shared something interesting he taught her during their time together. Even though Ryan was only 21 years old and Sandra was much older, they started dating for 2 years. They found each other really attractive. They were in different parts of their lives. Ryan was just starting his career while Sandra was already famous, even though they were busy with their work. Ryan remembers those 2 years as the best time in his life. Their relationship ended in 2002. They were too busy with their jobs, and it was hard to make things work. Ryan said in 2011 that the entertainment industry was to blame for their breakup. He was pretty close in figuring out why their relationship didn't work. The relationship suffered. It looks like Sandra probably knew she needed to stay important in Hollywood, and that might have been more important to her than being with Ryan.
So maybe Matthew and Ryan didn't work out, but Sandra Bullock has been married before to a man named Jesse James, and this guy seems like a total tool. Especially looking at headlines like these from 2011, "I cheated on my wife. Guess what? So do millions of other men." He has no remorse, no accountability. Ultimately, Jesse's affair is what ended their marriage, and he says, "I never shield away from anything that I did. I took full responsibility. I cheated on my wife. So do other people. People assumed that I was a dick because I didn't defend myself," he said. It looks like he also entered rehab in 2010 for childhood and anger management issues. So shit, he's got some baggage, poor guy. Hopefully you found some help, Jesse. Jesse said that he was actually addicted to anger, which sounds so exhausting. He said, "I needed to come out of the shadows and regain what I do best. Just because I cheated on my wife and got busted for it, it became a whole media storm. It doesn't mean I'm not valuable. I'm sorry it happened. I'm sorry it went down the way it did, but I forgive myself and I can move on." What's even more screwed up about this affair is that these two were in the process of adopting a little boy together. So they were in this process getting close to the end when she found out that he was cheating. Keep in mind that he does have other kids from another marriage. She became the stepmother to these children, so their entire family was ripped apart. Their relationship wasn't ever the same after this cheating, and it turns out that Sandra ended up adopting this little boy, Louis, as a single parent. And it looks like Jesse wasn't allowed to go and see him. He said, quote, "I've never seen Louis since everything happened. So it's been about a year, but there's no contact at all." So even though he was intended to be their son, she made sure he had no part of it. Jesse James sat down for an interview to speak about what his perfect life was like before he ruined it. Here's a clip of him talking about it.
You get the call that morning from Sandy's publicist?
I made mistakes and did stuff that I shouldn't have. I handled the situation not the way I should have. And you know what? I got divorced and lost a kid I adopted because of it. So
What was the hardest part of the whole situation for you?
I think losing my son, not being able to see him and see him grow up and all that stuff.
How do you handle a situation like that with your kids?
Just told them what I did and what happened and was truthful with them. We toughed it out in California and then we just picked up and moved. You know what? This place isn't for us anymore. There's like 60 paparazzi sitting in front of my house for 6 months.
And how severe did that get?
It was pretty bad. I beat the shit out of a bunch of them. Just wait till at night till they didn't see me coming and like run their cars off the road. They're trying to make my life miserable and make money off of it, so I should be entitled to do the same.
Something about Jesse just gives me major red flags. He's got a lot he needs to work through. But that's not the end of little baby Louis' story. Because in 2015, Sandra hired a photographer, Bryan, to go and take pictures of Louis for his birthday, and these two went on to fall in love. In my opinion, Bryan seems like he was the love of Sandra's life. They spent 8 years together until he unfortunately passed away from ALS. Sandra's sister posted on Instagram, "ALS is a cruel disease, but there is some comfort knowing that he had the best caretakers and my amazing sister in the band of nurses that she assembled who helped her look after him in their home." They write, "I'm convinced that Bry has found the best fishing spot in heaven." You're gonna make me cry. "And is already casting his lure into a rushing river with salmon." Oh, I want to cry, and then you're making me hungry. I do feel like he is the one who got away, and here's a clip of Sandra talking about her relationship with Bryan.
How has your partner been during all of this?
I mean, with me, very patient.
Yes.
A saint. He has evolved on a level that is not human. I found the love of my life. We shared 2 beautiful children, 3 children, his older daughter. It's the best thing ever.
Our condolences go out to Bryan and his family and his soul out there. I hope that you are fishing those fish. Death is so scary to me, guys, but moment of silence. Let's move on. I found a Reddit post that said, "Is there any tea on Sandra Bullock?" And I just could not help myself. I know the switch up is crazy. It seems like this person is speaking a little bit about Sandra and her relationship with Jesse James. Sorry to bring that prick back up, but they write that a former coworker is related to her. I went to the wedding. She's apparently very lovely and down to earth, a good person. It looks like this coworker and Sandra were close and talked even through her divorce. The coworker did not give specifics beyond her being really upset and surprised by the entire situation. I mean, I would be too if I was adopting a kid and my man was cheating. And then he's so proudly talking about it. One person said, "Not only did he betray her and hurt her, she was publicly humiliated by it all. It's so unfair. I know fame and fortune are the trade-off, but to watch your private trauma play out in the press is so messed up." One person writes that a very close family friend was her guidance counselor. Does this violate HIPAA? Oh my gosh, let's read more. But they described her as having a poor taste in men, specifically dirty men with cars. I guess it's not too surprising because she did date Jesse James. One person writes that this actually pans out. She does have pretty poor taste in men, except for the one who passed away. Oh, Bryan. One person adds that she had a crush on Keanu back in the day. She didn't say anything about it because she didn't feel like he felt the same way about her, so they stayed friends. Turns out Keanu also had a crush at her at the same time, but he had the same thoughts, that she didn't like me. As far as Sandra and Keanu Reeves go, there's not too much on there, but I did find a TikTok, one of these like AI robot TikToks, that gives a little bit more insight into their relationship.
Think about how sweet Keanu Reeves was and how handsome he was. He would look at me and I'd be like, Did you all get together? Did you date him? Never dated him.
The type of guy that I like is very basic. I like very simple, and usually people like that won't come up to me.
She obviously didn't know I had a crush on her.
Sandra couldn't believe Keanu would like her, so she started dating a bad boy TV star.
Jesse James. He likes guns, helicopters, motorcycle. He's the man's man. You're the all-American girl.
I asked her out. I'm not going to really take no for an answer.
What was the attraction?
Now to switch gears, another video that I've made about Sandra Bullock was her 2014 home invasion. If you guys have not seen that, definitely go and check it out. It's a big deep dive, but I'm going to talk about it here. Sandra said, "I'm in the closet and this doesn't end well." She was all alone when an intruder made his way through her home. She locked herself in a closet inside her bedroom. She said it was one of the nights that Louis wasn't with her adopted son. It almost sounds like a setup because she says it was one of the nights where our nanny goes, "Let me just take him to my apartment, which is up the street because you're going to be out late." Sandra said that if her son was home, she would have ran to his room, not her closet, which could have ended with both of them dead. The man who came into her home is Joshua James Corbett, and it looks like he had about 8 guns registered under his name. At this point, Joshua had already been a problem because he had been stalking Sandra days before the incident. And what's so scary about this is that the laws do not protect celebrities from stalkers. A lot of times they'll get arrested, taken down to a station, and let go within an hour. So even though they knew this guy was on their radar, they didn't know how far he was going to take it.
Sandra Bullock has filed for a permanent restraining order against a man who stalked her for 18 months. It was reported that the man had driven over 1,500 miles from Tennessee to Sandra's house.
Sandra was living a nightmare and was desperate for protection.
No one protected you like Jesse?
Not in a partnership. I never allowed myself to be protected that way in a relationship. The thing we want at the end of the day is the same, is that we want to come home. I have a home to go home to.
In 2017, Joshua pled no contest to 1 felony count of stalking and first-degree residential burglary. He was sentenced to only 5 years of probation, which means he could just go and, leave if he wanted to. I mean, they got a protective order issued against him, but it doesn't, that's not going to stop crazy. I'm sorry. Oh, I spoke too soon. Joshua actually ended up, passing away after a hours-long standoff where no shots were fired, but he was at his home, and it looks like the police were called. And at this point, it seems like the mental health system, had failed him, which resulted in this standoff where Joshua had passed away. There's no real other way to say it because there are some words here that I cannot say on YouTube. No. This situation left Sandra with PTSD. She said she would be looking left and right and paranoid at all times. Quote, I thought to myself, I'm a single parent and this child is going to absorb nothing but fear and trauma and shame from me at these times in his life when her son is very young. She said that she doesn't want to drop all of her baggage onto her child. As I said, I did a deep dive into this story in the past, but I wanted to go and include the 911 call so you guys could see how intense this moment was.
911 emergency. Right, someone has broken into my house. I'm hiding in the closet.
They're in the house now?
Yes, they are. I just saw them walk under the attic. I have
a man or a woman?
I think it was a man.
What's your name, ma'am?
Sandra Bullock.
All right, Sandra, I'm going to stay on the phone with you till the officers get there, okay?
Okay.
I want you to let me know if you see anything at all.
I'm in my closet. I don't think you can see anything. I have a safe door in my bedroom, and I've locked it, and I'm locked in the closet right now.
Okay, don't hang up. I'm going to be dispatching the police, okay? Don't hang up on me. Do you have any weapons? Are you armed?
No, I'm not. I hear someone banging on the door.
To your bedroom?
Yes.
829 suspects now attempting to gain entry to the bedroom.
Are they close?
We don't have a way to track where they are. I just know that they've been en route for about 4 minutes since the call came in. Okay, there's an officer pulling up now. Do not go out there.
Do what? I'm sorry?
I said do not go out there.
Okay, and just have them walk around. I'll stay right here.
I'm going to let you know what they're going to do, okay?
Is that them knocking at my door?
Are you knocking on the
I
door?
hear them. I hear them.
To treat her PTSD, Sandra says she started eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, a therapy to help her process what had happened. It's something that Sandra said that she was scared to do, but since has helped her and was incredibly healing. Bryan, her ex of 8 years, he passed away in 2023, so she's still healing from that. I did see there are some reports that she's open to dating in the future, but it seems like she's really trying to focus on loving herself, especially after losing someone you love so dearly. I can't imagine the pain that she's experienced.
My mom said, I'm going to raise you so you don't need anyone else but yourself. She might have gone a little too far, but you have to find a balance. You have to find the balance of vulnerability, yet have the tools for emotional survival, healthy emotional survival. But also, I used to think that my vulnerability was just utter weakness and fragility, and it's not. I really like me. I know I have issues. I know my imperfections rear their head often, but they're mine, and they're not dangerous. They are, I know where they're from, and I get to love.
So Sandra isn't dating anyone nowadays, but I want to hear what you guys think of this video in the comments below. That home invasion section just got me so spooked. I'm looking back and forth are we good? Are we good here? No, it's just a stripper pole reflecting behind me. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in a new video soon. Bye, guys.